Good morning. This is Pastor Brandon M. Spriggs from the Zion Hill Agape Baptist Church in Capitol Heights, Maryland. And this is your morning message in 5 minutes. We praise God for you being with us all during this week as we talk about the story of Joseph. And man, it's been amazing. And I say that with pun intended because today we're talking about life is amazing. First of all, we must understand that life is a lot like a maze. I've had the opportunity last fall to go through a corn maze at a local farm with my daughter. And there was times where I was honestly afraid that we may not make it out. Not that it was all that scary, but because every now and again we made one turn, sure that we were turning the right way and came to a dead end or a wrong way or something that we didn't expect to encounter, because that's what mazes do. They throw you off. And so there are problem areas in our lives at times. It happened for Joseph. Joseph's upbringing was not an easy one. In fact, his early years were like a minefield. It was like a maze, trying to step around a bunch of bombs. It is amazing that anyone could survive the pain and turmoil of those years with their sanity and with their integrity and with their emotions intact. And as we take a moment and as we take a look to examine some of the events in Joseph's life, we can see that Joseph did not have the best upbringing. We have already talked about the problems in his home, but at a young age, Joseph and his family make a hasty departure from his grandfather Laban's house, and now they have to flee under the cover of darkness because Jacob, his father, has cleaned out his father-in-law through deception. Yes, his father stole from his grandfather, and they had to make a run for it in the midnight hour. That is not a normal childhood. Imagine the fear as your grandfather is chasing your family and overtakes the family and has hard words and maybe even some other actions with your father. This is not something that a child should have to deal with. And as you travel, words come that your father's brother now, Esau, is coming out with many men to meet the family, and he's got some hard words for your dad as well. This is a terrible upbringing for Joseph. Joseph's older sister Dinah is raped by Shechem. Two of his brothers, Simeon and Levi, tricked the men of the city and eventually killed them all for raping their sister. Deborah, Rebecca's nurse, dies. Rachel, Joseph's mother's mother, dies while giving birth to his little brother Benjamin. Reuben, the oldest brother, commits incest with his father's concubine Bilhah. Joseph's other grandfather, Isaac, dies and is buried. Joseph's older brothers were all wicked and self-centered men, and Jacob was a passive father who allowed his children to get away with almost murder. And Joseph was also guilty of favoritism. Jacob was, because he favored Joseph over the rest of his sons. Joseph lost his beloved mother at a young age. Joseph was uprooted and moved at a young age. He saw and was surrounded by rape, murder, incest, treachery, intrigue, idolatry, jealousy, death, and hatred. And this was a very negative and hostile environment. That's the problem that the maze of life can bring for any one of us. But here's some positive areas, because not everything was negative in Joseph's background. There were a few positive moments along the way. One night, Jacob sent his family ahead, and he stayed behind to pray about his upcoming brother. And that's when Jacob got a new name and became Israel, which means a prince with God and no longer a trickster. master. God calls Jacob to come back to Bethel, and Jacob demands that they do away with their false gods. So his father did restore positive things in his life. Joseph sees these things and he realizes that you can never underestimate the importance of positive influences in a child's life. And in Joseph's case, the positive influence seemed to have had far more impact than the negative ones did. What does that tell us? That means that no matter what goes wrong in our lives, we need to focus on the positive and let go of the negative. This has been Pastor Brandon M. Spriggs from the Zion Hill Agape Baptist Church in Capitol Heights, Maryland. And this is your morning message in 5 minutes. Till next time, keep advancing the kingdom.